afternoon. My name is Karen Wilson. I'm with the Kentucky Public Service Commission. And we're just a little bit after 5 o'clock, so we're going to start with our public meeting. I hope everybody can hear me. And I hope everybody can see a PowerPoint presentation. This is a public meeting for Bluegrass Water Utility Operating Company, and the case number is 2020-90. This is our third public meeting in this case. All three of these public meetings have been conducted virtually. If you happen to be watching right now on YouTube and you would like to have an opportunity to speak, you can still do so by sending an email to psc.meeting@ky.gov. That information is there on the screen. Please include your name, your address, and your phone number. The purpose of this introductory portion of the public meeting is just to provide a little bit of information about the PSC and just a very brief summary of the application from Bluegrass Water. We won't take much time because we want to move right in, as soon as we can into the public comment portion. So I'll be very brief. The mission of the Public Service Commission is to foster safe and reliable service at a reasonable price to the customers of jurisdictional utilities, while providing for the financial stability of those utilities by setting fair and just rates and supporting their operational competence by overseeing regulated activities. The Public Service Commission is an independent regulatory agency. It's a 3-member commission. The Public Service Commission regulates the rates and service provided by jurisdictional utilities. That number is around 1,100 jurisdictional utilities. Most of those are small water and sewer systems. And then also natural gas distribution systems, interstate pipelines. The PSC regulates electric utilities, the investor-owned, and also electric cooperatives. However, not the cooperatives that are served by the Tennessee Valley Authority. Also, the Public Service Commission does not regulate municipal utilities except for gas pipeline safety. The rate-making process is a legal process. Kentucky Revised Statute 8. The Commission also promulgates regulations in furtherance of those statutes. And also the rate-making process derives legal principles derived from the application of statute regulations. Per statute, rates must be fair, just, and reasonable. Utilities are allowed to recover their cost of serving customers, plus the ability to earn a reasonable rate of return on capital investments. For investor-owned utilities, investors are entitled to an opportunity to earn a return on equity. For the nonprofit utilities, electric co-ops, they must be able to meet their lender requirements and also maintain their financial stability. Per statute, utilities are required to file a 30-day notice of intent before they submit an application for a rate adjustment. They're also required to provide a public notice. When an application is deemed by the PSC to be complete, that is when the clock starts. You'll see the bullet point regarding cases must be completed within 10 months. So that starts that clock running. And for the Bluegrass case, that was November 19, 2020. And the Public Service Commission has the ability to impose a suspension period in order to review a case, review the filing, and conduct hearings. And the suspension period for Bluegrass Water is extended up to and includes June 19, 2021. Bluegrass Water's application was for a general increase in water and sewer rates. They have proposed a unified rate for water customers and also a unified rate for sewer customers. And these are the customers of the utilities that are affected by the Bluegrass Water's proposal. You'll notice in the bottom right corner that according to a PSC ruling in March, the customers under case 2020-297 were not approved at the time that Bluegrass Water submitted the application, and thus they are not part of the overall rate analysis. So interveners in the case, the Attorney General's Office of Rate Intervention, and then also several homeowner association groups who represent customers of Bluegrass Water. Next steps in the case are next week, beginning on May 18. The formal hearing begins. Callers will have an additional opportunity to provide public comments by phone. The day of the hearing, that phone line, the number will be provided on the PS site at ps.ky.gov. Hearing is scheduled to last 2 days, and it will be virtual, and it will be live streamed via YouTube. And also in any rate case, Public Service Commission, public comments are accepted at any time until a final order is issued, and those can be submitted to the email address provided on the screen, that is psc.info@ky.gov. We ask that you include the rate case number in the subject line, which in this case is 2020-00290, and then also include your name and place of residence. So this concludes the overview of our public comment setting, and I am now going to turn it over to Commissioner Matthews, who will be presiding over the public comments.
Good evening. My name is Talina Matthews. I'm a commissioner here at the Public Service Commission. The meeting is being recorded for the benefit of the public, the record, and in order for the other two commissioners to review and consider. We are here today, as you heard, to take public comments in the rate case of Bluegrass Water, case number 2020-00290, and to kind of follow up and reiterate the comments that were made earlier. The role and obligation of us at the PSC is to ensure rates are fair, just, and reasonable. And we understand that in any rate case proceeding, there are strong feelings and opinions. We ask that as you provide your comments today, that you're respectful and mindful of the time limit for each speaker. We're here to listen. The utility is not presenting during the public comment meetings, and neither are the interveners in the case. The utility and the other parties will have their opportunity to make the case during the pendency of this matter. This is an opportunity for customers of the utility and the public to state their positions, concerns, and provide the Commission comments for consideration. Again, the Commission and I are here to listen. During today's comment sessions, I won't be able to answer questions. The Commission is the fact finder and decision maker in this case, and as such, we as Commissioners are unable to comment or speak to the process or substance of the pending application. Nevertheless, questions you raise during your comments may well be of assistance to the Commission and staff in adjudicating this matter. If you have questions for the utilities or any of the other parties to the case, you may ask them during this public meeting with the anticipation that those entities can later convey an appropriate answer outside of the public meeting. Contact information for the company can be received by calling the Kentucky Public Service Commission and speaking to our staff at 502-564-3940. We'll be limiting the length of comments to 5 minutes. I will let you know when you have approximately 1 minute left. And as always, written comments may be made to the commission at psc.info@ky.gov at any time during this case, and it must include your name, address, and the case number. Again, that's 2020-00290. When you speak, for the record, I would ask that you please provide your name and address prior to your comments. And now we will begin taking comments with Ms. Woods.
Yes, good evening. It's Mr. Woods, by the way, but
I apologize. I knew I would do it.
that's okay. Yes, my comment this evening is just to reiterate a letter that I had sent to the Public Service Commission in requesting for intervention and assistance in this proposed rate increase with Bluegrass Water. We live in Frankfort, Kentucky. My address is 148 Hunter's Trace. That's on the west side of Frankfort in the county, outside the city jurisdiction. But the city is adjacent to us, a short distance away. And my objection was to the excessive, what I feel is an excessive rate increase at this time. Our current rate is $55.85 per month. This is not based on any water usage, but just a flat rate fee. After checking with the City of Frankfort Sewer Department and getting some information from them, I based our water usage I took one of my current water usage bills and based it on the city's current charges, which happened to be $10.74 per month per 1,000 gallons of water used, with a 2,000 gallon minimum. I took one of my water usage bills as an example. On a 3,900 gallon month, water used for our sewer bill with the city would have been $41.89 plus applicable taxes, which would closely resemble what we're currently paying in the county to Bluegrass Water. And I feel like that this 72.1% increase, which would make our monthly bill $96.14, a little excessive at this time. Now, we've been in our home here for 15 years. I do realize that Bluegrass Water has taken over the sewer in our subdivision, and based on what I could find, they roughly have 35 customers on this sewer situation. My wife and I are both retired, and as a lot of people now, we are living with a fixed income and feel like that this 72% increase would be an additional hardship on our monthly budget that would just really take a toll on our income. And that's all I have to say.
Thank you. Mr. Terry or Ms. Terry? I'm sorry, sir, we can't hear you. We still can't hear you. if you try to call in, that might, you do the audio via the phone and then do video via GoToMeeting. I'm gonna, if it's while you're getting through, and I know they've sent you the number to call in, I think I'm gonna go to Hallam McStutes and see if he's ready, and then I'll come back to you.
Hi, I'll start my timer here so I don't eat up too much. My name's Hallam McStutes. I live in 114 Persimmon Ridge Drive in the Persimmon Ridge community, just at the edge of Shelby County and Jefferson County. I apologize. We are relatively new to that community. We moved up from Alabama, lived in Jefferson County, Kentucky for a bit, then we're on to Shelby County. So I'm not all the way up on all the facts and figures of everything involved. And a lot of things are to my understanding, just from what I've heard from neighbors and what I've been able to read. We hadn't really been part of the mailing list or anything like that, again, because we're so new. We haven't even been in the community a year. But it is kind of shocking to find out that our sewer rates are going to triple. That is triple for something that we largely can't control. I've had the pleasure and privilege of living in several places throughout the United States, and the current rates I would consider to be reasonable and fair based off of other states and communities that we've lived in. Out of all those communities, one of them was Jefferson County, Alabama, which I don't know if a lot of people are familiar with. At one time, it was a national thing. They had a sewer bond scandal, and it had to do with utilities, and several people went to prison over it and whatnot. However, I'm not implying any of that is the case here. What I am noting, though, is that even with those sewer rates that were considered at the time some of the highest in the country, even with those sewer and water rates combined, they did not equal what the sewer rate is being proposed to be with Bluegrass utilities. And so I don't know that I would consider this hike to be even reasonable or fair. And from my understanding, and here I'm going to give you from my understanding, is that Persimmon Ridge was just recently acquired by Bluegrass Utilities. Any of these infrastructure investments that they have made, they cause these deficits, obviously were not realized by Persimmon Ridge. And that from my understanding, the Persimmon Ridge sewer system that they acquired is not in dire need of radical maintenance to bring it up to code. So what I'm understanding is that we've been acquired, tossed onto a pile of, at the best case, poor investments, at the worst case, horrible mismanagement of the sewer system. And then now we're going to be leveraged to pay for those past mistakes that they have made. And that is not fair. That, one, I don't get a choice that we were acquired. And I understand private business is private business, and the Utility Commission is our only gatekeeper in that. But I didn't get a choice that Persimmon Ridge sewer system was acquired. It has been acquired, and we're being saddled with the debt from other systems. And in doing so, it is the one utility that I cannot affect. And that, what I mean by that is, even if these unfair rates were imposed, with every other utility I have, be it electric, be it gas, be it water, I can economize. I can make provisions within my life to live less. I don't think it's fair that I should do that, but I can do that. And with this flat rate on a sewer, I might even flush that toilet one time and I'm charged $100, whether I like it or not. I can't do anything to affect that. And, moving forward, I know that companies have to be, they have to make profits. I get that. I understand that there's maintenance costs involved, but what I would ask is that as these, a little bit more investigation, maybe a little more fair and equitable rise in these rates, if that has to happen, and that a portion of these be veritable. Most of the places we lived, the water bill dictated what our sewer was, and that there was some base rates and things like that, but I had the ability to control my outcome. And I don't see that being the case here. $100 for sewer, I'm rounding, I understand. $100 for sewer a month is ridiculous. Even in the scandal-ridden areas, it's not $100 for just the sewer. So I appreciate your guys' time. I appreciate what you're doing. You're our only line of defense in this. We have no say any other way. So I appreciate your attention and effort. There's my time. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Terry, did you get your sound worked out? We can hear you
Okay.
now.
Okay, good. Well, anyway, my name is Johnny Terry. I live at 366 Holly Tree Drive in Murray, Kentucky. My number is 760-608-2763. And anyway, I'm calling about the Center Ridge number 4
If,
proposed water rate increase.
if you could turn the sound down on your computer, because I think we're getting a little echo.
Oh, okay. Is this better?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, should I repeat everything?
No, we heard it. It just was a little distorted.
Okay, all right. Like I said, calling in regards to the Center Ridge proposed water rate increase, and I live about 250 feet from the well house here at Center Ridge number 4. So I can see everything that pretty much goes on up at the well house, and the well house is in fair condition. They have made a few minor upgrades inside. They've had a power company come out and put a new power feed to their service head and their meter. Other than that, the well is still the same well. The water lines that service the community, number 4, are there. There's, from what I understand from the people that come out and check is that they're in pretty good shape. There's no construction going on to make them better. And like I say, the big increase, what maintenance is going on is pretty much the same maintenance that was going on last year when Mr. Duncan was the operator of the well up here. So I don't understand why they need such a large rate increase when it's nothing has really changed over the quality of the service or the reliability of the service, or like I say, they made a few minor changes to the upgrades inside of the pump house. They put a new controller in for the pump, and like I say, I can see what goes on up at the pump house. I live 250 miles away from it, or not 250 feet away from it. And on top of that, we have meters in number 4, in the district number 4. And all the districts are basically independent and have nothing other than being owned by the same person or being included in the same group are pretty much different, pretty much each one is different. So, like I say, the maintenance is still basically the same as what was done previous. The well there's no construction. There's other than the normal maintenance that's been going on out here ever since my folks bought this place in 1976. So, which back then was a community well, and Mr. Duncan taking it over in 2005 or something like that, because the homeowners association couldn't collect from the fees that needed to keep the rate, the wells up, which was only $100 a year from each person that had service. And like I say, most of the people in District 4 here are here all year long. Like myself, they're senior citizens or low-income people, and they're the water service is not noticeably better than the previous water company, other than they do when they should they have to make a line repair or something, they give you a notice for a day, it's done. But there's not. Don't know why they are needing such a large increase to maintain the systems that were being maintained for the $23 a month versus why do they need $106 a month? Let's see what else. That's pretty much it. But like I say, I can see what goes on up there. They were going to put a generator up there in case we had power outages. That's not happened yet. However, it's a Generex generator or something's not that expensive that it should cause a rate increase that we're talking about. And I appreciate what you're doing, and hopefully you will realize that this rate increase to me is really excessive. I can understand they need perhaps a little bit of an increase to offset some operating costs, but not what they're asking for. On top of that, it's not that hard to drill a well out here myself, and I don't. At the rate they're proposing, it might be cheaper to drill a well than pay Bluegrass Water. So,
Mr. Terry, I'm going to have to tell you your time is almost up.
okay, all right, but that's my comments, and like I say, hopefully you'll. And about 3 weeks ago, one of your inspectors was out here. And unfortunately, they were here and gone. I was going to walk up the hill and talk to them, but they left before I could get up there. So,
Well, thank you very much for your comments.
okay, thank you.
And I'm sorry about the technology issue.
I don't know why my microphone's not working, but that's what happens when you get old and you don't have all the expertise to do all this.
I don't think it has anything to do with age, sir.
Okay. Yeah, in about 10 days, I'm going to be 78, so.
Okay. Well, thank you very much. Mr. Noonan?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes.
All right, well, thank you very much, Madam Chairperson, or Madam Commissioner, and special thank you to all the other commissioners, and also to the Office of the Attorney General, who is really our only voice to represent the small customers. Up until about 20 minutes ago, I had a very, what I thought was a good presentation with a lot of comments and issues to be brought up. But then at the intro, when we were looking at the slides, I noticed that in March 24th, the note was made that the 4 sewer districts that were part of a 297 are not part of the overall rate analysis.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the first time any of us that live in this neighborhood have heard that. So this is going to be brief. If that is true, that we are not part of this discussion, this rate increase, then it makes it a lot easier on the 40 customers that are part of that ex-Springcrest sewer district. I do just want to make a comment that the communications with Bluegrass Water have been a little iffy at times. Letters we receive from them typically are not dated. They contain misleading information. We, as customers of Springcrest, received a letter from them that was mentioned in yesterday's comments about this hearing, or announcing that the hearing on May 18th was going to take place. And we were invited to make public comment. Nothing was said about Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday's meetings, which kind of leads me to believe they may have been trying to keep us off that. Not sure why we weren't notified of that. We were also not notified that we were not part of the rate increase. So I think what I'd like to just end with is, I know I can't ask questions, but I would like maybe someone in PSC to get back with me or somehow let me know, does that ruling on March 24th on 297 mean that the proposed rate increase does not apply to the 4 utilities, including Springcrest sewer system, that we do not need to make comments on May 18th, and that if there is to be a rate increase in our sewer system, that will have to be applied for in a separate case. So again, thank you very much for your time and appreciate what you do for all of us customers.
Thank you. And we'll try to get an answer to your question.
Thank you.
It may be put on the website if we can.
All right.
Mr. Krill, you've been patiently waiting.
Yes, I enjoyed Mr. Noonan's comments. Just briefly, we are on the rate increase. We were never notified of next week's, we were told this week's comments, but next week's comments is what we expected. So coming kind of unprepared. My name is Kevin Krill. I'm from Mayfield, Kentucky. We are in the Ramview subdivision. And in that subdivision, we have a mixture. We have people that are on the lagoon. There's approximately 55 of us. There's people with their own septic systems. And there are people within that Ramview subdivision that are on the Mayfield sewer system. My residence presently 75 feet from the Mayfield sewer system. Now, when this was purchased, we received a letter last November from this company, Bluegrass Water, that they were purchasing us, and that was that. You know, we were owned. And along with that came another letter that we were expecting a rate increase up to $96.14 would be approved. And that started the whole ball of wax for us. Recently, I wrote a letter and I mailed it this past Monday, and the commission should receive it tomorrow's mailing. The Attorney General's office will also receive a copy of it. And I've been including them. I did not include Mr. Sanford, who represents, I have been told, I talked with him briefly, not knowing that he represents our former trustee who sold us. Now, just briefly, I'll give you a summary of what I said in this letter, and I will put it at the Public Service Commission's attention on the website in its entirety. And I would duly like it to be considered. I want to thank the commission and Miss Linda Bridwell for her interest in trying to find a good outcome for us. Our membership has noticed on the recent citation to Bluegrass Water, her questions 11 through 15 were especially interesting to us. It brought up some very astute questions that to points that need to be answered in order to go forward to find a good solution to us. Unfortunately, I don't think Bluegrass will answer to the PSC those questions, especially number 11, to anyone's satisfaction. I think they obfuscate rather than prove the natural foundation of things. I think they're a for-profit company. They seek to maximize, they're not a public utility, and they'll maximize their interest at the cost of all of our lagoon members. I'd like to hear their answer to Ms. Bridwell's number 11 question. Does the PSC seriously think that this company would have been investigated, would have investigated any means to connect or attach with the services of another sewer provider, meaning, I guess, Mayfield Electric or the city of Mayfield? They could have provided a capacity and facility to take care of our needs. I don't think they did. I don't think they cared. They obtained an estimate of otherwise investigated what it would cost to connect any of its systems to facilities. I don't think they care about that. I don't think they care about the interest of the people that they serve. They just seek to maximize their profits. The Randview wastewater system is unable to properly treat wastewater because of the system's failing lagoons. This is the words of Bluegrass Water when they purchased us. And they simply said, we plan to make improvements and to address the issues. They didn't want to involve Mayfield Electric or any of the other local utilities. They don't seek the public's interest. They seek their own interest. And all of us out here have a problem with that. I'm sure the PSC is aware of, a letter written by our county attorney. And I just want to end up by saying this. John Cunningham's put the pressure to it that they broke, our previous trustee broke his agreement with us. And we had the ability to put in our own septic systems. Now, to some, it means a step backwards when you do something like that. And it is a cost. But several of us are thinking of doing just that, rather than pay this company from out of state. Again, I want to refer you to my letter that I'm sending, and you'll receive tomorrow. I want you to read it in its entirety and consider just what would be best for the people of Kentucky. When I think of your department, and this is to you, Attorney General, I think of representing the people of Kentucky, representing our public interest. And it's not just setting rates, I'm sorry, on public commission's part. It's representing what is right for the people. And a company that comes in and doesn't even look to take in the interest of the people, I really don't have anything to say for. I want to thank you for your time.
Thank you. I don't believe there's anyone else who has signed up to speak. So with that, the public comment period for today has ended, and the hearing is next week. I believe it starts Tuesday at 1 p.m., and there will be, I believe, the ability for public comment prior to the hearing that starts at 1. Thank you. With that-
Commissioner Matthews,
Yes,
I
ma'am.
apologize for interrupting, but I do have one more person who just emailed they'd like to speak.
Okay,
I will send them the link. Just give me a couple of minutes.
okay. Mr. Lampy?
Yeah, that's right. You got it right. Most people call me Lamp. I appreciate that very much. I just wanted to be brief. I did send a letter today, and I wanted to reiterate the comments because I believe it's important to kind of touch on sending a letter and also speaking in the public comment section of the meeting. My wife and I reside at 286 Lakeshore Drive in New Concord, Kentucky, and that is part of the Center Ridge. I can't remember which number it is. The potential rate increase we're looking at is 364%, which would be $27.79 up to $105 and change. I just think it's wholly unreasonable to see an amount that significant for water in an unmetered district. There's, whether you use 500 gallons of water or 5 gallons of water, you're going to have to be charged $105 a month for water. I'm sure that the Attorney General's office and the PSC will hopefully find that this is an unreasonable amount. I think you should take into account the context of the community in Callaway County, where more than 21% of the population live below the poverty line, and you're asking for that significant of a rate increase. Not to mention other utilities now, like broadband, where your base rate for reasonable broadband is almost $100 a month for people to access the internet. So yeah, I believe that the rate increase is significant. I don't know that they have demonstrated the real infrastructure improvements they have made to the water district. In the letter they sent, they cite, let me pull up my letter here really quickly. District completed and planned $1.1 million in infrastructure improvements. Well, how much has been completed and how much is planned? I think it would be nice for us to know just how much they have really invested in this water district. And if they have accrued debt to do this stuff, perhaps they could look at a more reasonable return on their debt repayment to not pay it back. You know, maybe they could pay it back in 5 or 7 years, as opposed to, I think the plan based on my math would be 2 years to pay off that much of an investment. I think that's a little, I don't know what they paid for the water district, but I think to ask customers to pay 364% more for water that is unmetered is totally ridiculous. And you may force people to move out of the water district and shed more burden to other customers, or as Mr. Terry mentioned, just drill a well. So it doesn't seem like a good business decision to me, and I appreciate the commission's attention to this. So thank you for allowing me to speak at the last minute.
If you would, I don't think I heard you state your address.
It's 286 Lakeshore Drive, and that's in New Concord, Kentucky.
Okay, thank you. We just need that for the record.
Sure.
Okay, with that, this public comment period is now concluded.